jump back to it. I just want to, just looking through our conditions and related to a question somebody asked about emergency personnel. I just want to report that another one of our conditions required that on a biannual basis that the applicant conduct training exercises for first responders in coordination with the fire chiefs and a couple local communities, that being City of Waterloo and the Village of Marshall, and that I'll just read the exact requirement. The first such exercise shall be conducted within 30 days of completion of the pump station, with future exercises scheduled in consultation with the fire chiefs, and that the applicant shall provide advance notice of the scheduled training exercises to Dane County Hazardous Materials Plan and invite their involvement in the exercises. So, in addition to what they're staffing, that was a requirement that we put in.
Good information. I actually have a question that's related, so I'm going to go ahead and continue this conversation real quick. In addition to the safety grants to local emergency services, Mark, this one is specifically to you. What are your efforts to work with the town and county emergency response teams to prepare and respond to oil spills beyond line 61?
Usually it's at the request of whatever the responder asks for. We do have like some basic information that we typically bring out in a face-to-face meeting. We try and meet with each first responder face-to-face at least once a year to talk with them about what we have to offer and what they'd like to take advantage of. So that ranges from some pretty advanced pipeline training that's available online for first responders that they can qualify. I think it goes up to 4 hours worth of training where they can get a certification in pipeline response, to if they would like to have one of our emergency response trainers come in-house and talk with their department. We kind of try and customize it depending on what the first responder would like to have.
So perhaps, much like up here we do forest and prairie type wildfire training, we need to add this to our thinking as we're moving forward with our emergency folks.
If I could quickly just encourage everyone to reach out to your emergency responders or whoever's in charge of them and encourage them to ask for that training multiple times. I have been in rooms with emergency responders in cities where there are, or villages or towns where there are pipelines that run through them, and they have no idea what the proper protocol is, what chemicals are inside the pipeline, so then what proper response would be in terms of treating any exposure. So, and as Mark stated, it appears the onus is on those emergency responders to reach out to Enbridge versus the other way around. So I would encourage everybody here to ensure that it was have done that.
I'm going to rephrase this one to make it a little bit more broad. Could the citizens of anywhere write a community rights ordinance banning pipelines from expanding their operations? I guess whoever wants to take that one.
There are communities who have attempted to do that. Some of them have not yet been challenged. Some of them have been challenged and defeated. There are constraints on what local governments can outright prohibit. I guess I would guess that for the most part, depending on how an individual ordinance was drafted and what its ultimate goal was, that would be a challenge to do so successfully.
They've been successful.
In some places, they've been passed but not challenged, right? I don't know of any that have actually been upheld.
Usually the corporation backs off.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty effective if it's done right. If you write it the right way. It strips the corporation of the rights and elevates the community rights above the corporation, which is pretty effective.
Thank you. So here's a another citizen act, what we can actually do. How can we as citizens identify a pipeline breach if, let's say, the safety measures don't work? And how can we train citizens to be the first responders to spot and report breach? A lot of us float all four of those rivers.
I can start by requesting folks that we're always looking for and appreciate calls from the public about concerns with their pipeline. So anytime you would go by one of our pipeline crossings, you'll see our 1-800 number there that goes direct to our control center. We want people to report any concerns. We do send public information out to, as Rebecca had noted, the landowners and contractors that are likely to be digging in the area. We want to get that number out there for emergency response purposes. And we do get many calls throughout the year of concerns. A lot of them are odor complaints, but we take them very seriously. We'll shut down our pipeline and send an employee out to verify if there's a problem.
I'd actually like to answer that a little differently. The emergency, notifying the operator and 911 if there's a spill should be what happens first. I would be really concerned about individuals hanging around and trying to respond in a situation where there was a spill, particularly of these lines where there's dilbit, so there's light hydrocarbons that are going to be coming off, and the diluent line that has light hydrocarbons in it. If it's a rupture and it's a big spill, that's a lot of nasty organics in the air, and you really don't want individuals to be there. You want to notify the first responders and have them make a decision about whether anybody should be there without respirators, and let the first responders do it. Do it as fast as you can, but don't try to do it yourself.
Advice. We are probably running out of patience for people here. I see some nodding off. So I'm going to just ask a couple more and we're going to wrap it up. So please explain briefly procedure for testing the system to confirm it can handle the increased pumping capacity. Does it involve actually pumping 1.2 million barrels?
I'll answer that. You're welcome to comment as well, but it's done through the regulations require you hydro test the pipeline, and that was done when it was initially installed. That sets the pressure limitations for the pipeline.
So, did you talk about what that means? That means filling the pipe with water
Oh,
at a much higher pressure than it operates at. So it's usually 1.25 times the pressure that you intend to operate it at. Again, depending on some variables, but it's usually 1.25. So they fill it with water and pump it up to a higher pressure than they'll operate at, and see if anything pops. And if it pops, it's just water, and so then they fix it and do that until it sustains that pressure. So it is tested before it goes in operation.
I am going to bring this maybe a little closer to home for a few people. There are a whole lot of cranberry marshes. There's a lot of cattle grazing as well as tourism that happens in this part of the world. Is there a plan in place to compensate landowners should there be groundwater or surface contamination?
I can address that as well. And yes, Enbridge is, top priority is safety and public safety, environmental safety. And that's one thing I can probably say in all the years I've worked for Enbridge. I've never seen the company try and walk away from a problem. When we've had incidents,
was stated that there is no federal review unless a pipeline crosses federal land. Line 61 crosses the Namakogan River, a wild river, and actually the St. Croix too. National Park Service does own the corridor, or did. Is there NPS land where the pipeline crosses the Namakogan and St. Croix rivers that could trigger a federal review?
So, when I mentioned that about the EIS, what usually happens is when an initial right-of-way is identified and acquired from the federal government, it's usually a land crossing permit, sometimes it's a right-of-way. That federal agency has an obligation to comply with the National Environmental Policy Act at that point and do some sort of environmental assessment, whether it's an environmental assessment or a full EIS. That depends on their regulations and how they comply with NEPA. My understanding, Greg, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the river was designated after the corridor, is that?
That's my understanding.
So that may be why it didn't happen that way here, is that the right-of-way border actually existed before the river designation. But typically when rights of way are acquired across Forest Service land or BLM land or Fish and Wildlife Service, they'll do a review just of that piece. Our concern is that that's really the only NEPA trigger there is if there's some federal permit required, and there's not a comprehensive federal permit required for these large-scale replacement, expansion, and installation.
The final question I'm going to is actually more of a comment, and whoever wrote this, thanks, I couldn't have done better myself. It says, thanks to SCRA and WCLRA for sponsoring this forum. The St. Croix, Eau Claire, Totogatek, and Namakogan are national treasures and superlative river resources. This forum is an excellent step to raise public awareness of the existence of the pipeline corridor and related hazards. All utilities and transportation systems should be built and managed for the best possible spill prevention and response. It behooves all citizens, and they underline multiple times, to exercise their very best stewardship, protection, and restoration and conservation efforts and behaviors. So with that, I'm going to allow each panelist to take 2 minutes and share any final comments. Do you want to go first, Mark?
Sure. I just hope that everybody has gained some information and insight from coming here tonight. If you have additional questions or concerns, we have a handful of Enbridge folks here tonight, and they set up a little booth outside. Stop by there and ask your questions. They might not know the answer off the top of their heads, but between several of us that are here tonight, hopefully we can answer any questions that you have. Like I said before, we really want to be part of the conversation and work with our community